Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We are diving deep into some pretty wild stuff happening right now.
Yeah.
I mean, between international relations and, the drug trade and economic policies, it's kind of hard to keep up with it all.
It is.
It is.
It's a lot going on.
We're going to try to untangle it a bit today.
Yeah, absolutely.
And specifically, we're going to be focusing on Trump and Mexico's president, Sheinbaum Pardo.
Right.
And then kind of indirectly China. If you want to stay up to date on this stuff as it develops, definitely hit that like button and subscribe.
Yeah.
Because things are moving quickly.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that kind of caught my eye was Trump's, claim that he had this super successful phone call with Sheinbaum Pardo,
right,
where she, basically agreed to stop all this migration through Mexico and
effectively closing the border.
Close the border, right?
Yeah.
So sounds like a big win, for Trump.
Huge. Seemingly,
it gets a little weird.
It does,
right?
Yeah. Well, she posts her own statement.
Yeah.
On X, Twitter.
Yeah. And Twitter, X, whatever.
Right. It's a very different picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
She talks about, a comprehensive strategy, a comprehensive strategy focused on human rights.
Right.
And building bridges, not walls. Right.
Hold on. Building bridges.
Yeah.
That sounds like the exact opposite of what Trump's saying.
It is.
So what's the real story here?
Well, it definitely suggests that.
I mean, is this just like a misunderstanding?
It could.
Or is this like some political chess move?
It could be.
Where they're both kind of...
a little bit of both.
Spinning things.
I mean, this...
comprehensive strategy?
Suggests that she's looking at long-term solutions to migration.
Right.
So you're talking about addressing root causes like poverty and violence.
In Central America.
In Central America, right?
Yeah.
But also ensuring humane treatment of migrants.
Right.
So that's very different from simply closing the border.
Yeah.
Like a wall would do.
Yeah, it's kind of like they're speaking two different languages.
A little bit, yeah.
And then to add even another layer to this whole thing.
Okay.
Trump's also out there threatening tariffs.
Yeah. 25% on Mexico?
25% on Mexico.
And Canada.
For not doing enough on immigration and drugs.
Right.
Plus another 10% on China.
Oh, wow.
Specifically because of fentanyl coming into the U.S. from Mexico.
Oh, okay. So this is where China comes in.
Right.
So how does China play into all of this?
Well, a lot of it comes down to the supply chain of fentanyl.
Okay. So they're producing it.
A lot of the chemical ingredients, or what are called precursors, actually originate in China.
And these precursors are then shipped to Mexico, where they're used in labs to produce the drugs.
Wow.
So,
it's like this whole
global problem.
Yeah, this whole global thing.
That requires a lot of international cooperation to solve.
It's crazy how interconnected all of this is.
It is.
Speaking of fentanyl, Trump's also planning this huge ad campaign,
right,
to kind of warn people about the dangers of fentanyl.
Yeah, public awareness.
Do you think that'll be effective?
I mean, they can play a role.
Do you think it'll actually reach?
But they need to be part of a larger strategy, you know?
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
And then
you can't just
not an awareness campaign and think that'll solve everything.
Right.
Right.
China's not super happy about these tariffs either.
No.
I mean, they're calling them far-fetched.
Right.
Which
doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't. And it just adds another layer of tension.
Right.
To the already strained U.S. China relations.
Right. And that's what I was going to say is that, this is all happening
in context.
In the context of all this other stuff that's going on between the U.S. and China.
Right.
Trade wars and all that.
Right.
So it seems like this could have some serious economic fallout.
It could.
Not just for those two countries.
Right.
But for,
globally.
Everybody.
Yeah.
So, wow. Okay. So let's kind of recap here.
Yeah.
I've got, conflicting stories about this U.S.-Mexico agreement.
Yeah.
We've got this...
drug crisis.
A deadly drug crisis.
It's fueled by this, crazy global supply chain.
Right.
And then we've got all these economic threats.
Yeah.
Kind of looming over everything.
The potential for economic fallout is certainly there.
Yeah. What a mess.
It is.
So I guess this kind of bugs the question.
Yeah. In this crazy interconnected world that we live in.
Right.
Can any one nation really solve these problems on their own?
It requires cooperation.
Or does it require real global cooperation?
It does.
Wow.
That's a question.
And question worth pondering.
Worth thinking about.
Yeah. Well, this has been quite the